Here are the things to do to avoid getting or spreading the coronavirus. Always wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water. Carry with you and use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer at all times. Avoid touching your face unnecessarily. When you cough or sneeze, do so in a bent elbow and not in your hands. If you cough or sneeze on a tissue, dispose immediately. Endeavor to wear a face mask when you go out. Dispose of the face mask properly after use. Should you feel unwell and show symptoms, call the NCDC and follow their instructions. Stay safe. Maintain social distance. Fidelity cares about you.
Welcome to the Positive and Wellness Summit, day 2, session 2. And today we'll be having another stream of guests and a fireside chat, all to help you live positive and healthy lifestyles. Now, this is a production of Sickle Cell Advocacy and Management Initiative, a nonprofit focusing on helping people with sickle cell live healthy and positive lifestyles. And we're bringing this to you because we know as part of the SDG goals, it is very important that we have a healthy and well-being, for us as a nation or as individuals. And so I'm going to bring on my very first guest for this session. She's somebody I admire and what she's been doing so far. I think I met her like, how many years? I think it's up to 2 years now. I can't remember. 3 years. Wow, that long. Time goes by. Oh. So I'm going to play her bio and bring her on.
Edirin Edewor is a multiple Amazon best-selling author, an award-winning entrepreneur, international speaker, coach, principal consultant, and founder at Edewor Solutions with footprints across Africa and the UAE. She is a foremost thought leader on mindset and business strategy for entrepreneurs and online publishing for personal and business brands. Edirin is the founder of the Online Publishers and Entrepreneurs Network Open, a community of over 29,000 authors, writers, and entrepreneurs, helping them become published as well as profiting from their skills using new media. Till date, she has helped over 1,500 authors get published online and in print, with more than 200 Amazon bestsellers emerging. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's welcome multiple Amazon best-selling author Edirin Edewor to the Positive and Wellness Summit as she speaks on health, life balance, effective steps to managing your work in the midst of a health crisis.
Hi, Edirin. Good to have you.
Good evening. Hope everybody can hear me.
Yeah, can you hear us? Please put a fire emoji, a clap emoji, or a smiley emoji, and let's welcome Edirin to the Positive and Healthy and Wellness Summit. Yes, I think people can hear you. Yeah, I think so. All right. So, like I said, I didn't know it was up to 3 years. Wow, time goes
2017 actually.
Time goes by so fast. And one thing I admire about Edirin is like, she's very quiet. Even when she talks, she's soft-spoken, but don't think that she doesn't have power. She has a lot of energy and spunk in her, and she's done so much. In fact, when I had you decided to carry a conference to Dubai, I said, wow, this woman, I thought I was the type of person who had energy, but you do have a lot of energy, and I thank God for what you do, and I pray that you give you the grace to continue to do what you do. So I'm going to hand you over to, thank you for those fire emojis and clapping. I'll hand you over to Edirin for her to talk on health, life balance.
Thank you so much. I call her Auntie Toyin because she's my big auntie. In fact, being bigger than a big sister, so I call her Auntie Toyin, and she's been amazing. She's been such an inspiration. She has been, she's somebody that, like, whenever I feel down and when I feel like I'm not doing again, I think of her, and I am just inspired to continue to do more. She's one person that I really look up to in all of the amazing things that she's done. You guys have no idea how amazing she is, and I am so honored to be back here again on the Sami platform for the second time, to come and talk and come and share about health-life balance, effective steps to managing your work in the midst of a crisis. That's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. All right. So, first of all, I'd like to clarify, although this is a platform that is called the Sickle Cell Advocacy and Management Initiative, and I've been brought on here, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm living with sickle cell. I am not living with sickle cell. However, I have a unique perspective when it comes to health that I believe can also help not just people who are living with sickle cell, but people who have one health challenge or the other, who are finding it difficult to manage their work and have some semblance of balance in their work and their life, right? So I'm going to be sharing a little bit of my story. Some of you may already know the story already, and some of you may not. Some of you who probably have never heard of me before, and hopefully it inspires you, no matter who you are, no matter where you are. It inspires you to continue to move on with your life, to continue to see that there's always hope, and to continue to see that as long as there's life, there's always a reason for living. All right. So thank you so much. I can see some of your emojis here. I can see a few familiar faces here. I can see Uncle Shola. I can see a couple of people here. I really, really appreciate you being on. All right. So a little bit about my story. I'll just do a summarized version because we don't have time. So I've always, usually, where do I even start from? Okay. Growing up, I used to be quite a sickly child. I had the AA genotype, but you know that people who have AA genotype are actually more susceptible to malaria. So I was one of those kids, and even till now, that I used to fall sick with malaria almost every other month. So I was always sick with malaria. I don't like mosquitoes at all, because once it's mosquito season, I know that it's malaria season, and I'm always sick, right? But it was something that we could manage. If I was ill, I would take a malaria treatment, or at least I would take anti-malaria to prevent myself from falling sick. It didn't always work sometimes, but at least I did the best that I could. There was some level of treatment for the challenges. I also had certain challenges with some sort of allergies that I used to have, and we never could find out exactly what the allergies were. I used to, there will be periods of time when I would just break out in hives and have my eyes get really, really swollen, like somebody who has Apollo, for those of you who understand what Apollo is, right? And it would just happen all of a sudden, just like that. And it was really, really disruptive of my studies, when I was a lot younger and in school, because once it happens, I can't see out of my eyes. It's so painful that my eyes start hurting, and I start having massive headache. My eyes start pouring out on their own. I start having, pains all over my body, and it just was really, really bad. And I went to several hospitals, even consulted with like an American doctor, and they all said, oh, it's allergies, because the symptoms were kind of consistent with certain kinds of allergies. But we didn't know exactly what I was allergic to. I knew that I was allergic to seafood, but it wasn't it. Even when I don't eat anything, it would happen. Later, I began to realize that it would happen usually at certain periods of time in the month. For ladies, you understand what that means. So I found out that those triggers and those things, this eye swelling and all of those things, my face would swell up and stuff. It usually happen at that time of the month. So when we noticed that after almost 8 years of having to suffer through that, when we noticed that, we realized, okay, it's that time of the month. So Went back to the hospital again, and then the doctor said, okay, maybe it's not allergies, maybe it's hormonal. Maybe it has to do with your hormones, but we don't exactly know what hormone and exactly what's causing it, you know. Later, because I am a very curious person, and because thankfully I came from a health background, my mother is a nurse, I learned how to journal and take notes. And, you know, at least if something is happening in my body, I'll write, okay, what am I feeling? What am I seeing? What did I eat? Where was I? What did I do? What did I touch? I would, you know, try to note all of those things. I began to realize that some months it would not come, and those months were the months that I felt really, really great. I felt very strong. I felt I had no cramps. And I felt really, really great. Then the months where it happened were periods of times when I actually felt pain, I actually felt very sick during that time of the month. And usually when you feel pain many times, and many people, you usually take pain relief. So, because I was a child that normally knew how to bear pain, but when it comes to that time of the month, I did not like to bear that pain at all. I would take certain pain reliefs, right? And I started to notice that it was during that period that I would take pain relief that these inflammations and those flare ups would happen. It was then that I made the connection that, oh, I think my reactions were due to pain relief. So I started to take note. I started doing trial and error. I'll take ibuprofen. It will happen. I was like, okay, ibuprofen, not for me. So I react to ibuprofen. Then I'll take maybe diclofenac. I'll react. I'm like, okay, no diclofenac. Then I'll take maybe Felvin or Feldin. I'll react. I'm like, okay, that one too doesn't work for me. All the way down to the simple paracetamol. I realized that all of these drugs, right, I reacted to them. So imagine living your life in this modern day and age where you cannot take any painkillers, everything from Advil and aspirin, Panadol, paracetamol, diclofenac, cataflam, Novalgine, anything that had to do with relieving of pain. I haven't tried morphine, so I don't know about that. You know, I found out that those drugs, you know, made me to react. I will have all those reactions and stuff. So I realized that I was reacting heavily to whatever it is that causes pains to reduce. So it was a very hard life having to deal with pains month in and month out and not being able to do anything. I had to learn to up my pain threshold to be able to bear pain. Then, come 2016, this whole thing actually made, you know, it now made sense. I began to understand why maybe the Lord was preparing me for something in my future at the time. So if you're with me and if you're listening to me and you can hear me clearly, let me know that you're hearing me and hearing me. I would like to see your feedback as I'm talking so that I'll know that, you know, everything is perfect. So back in 2016, I had finished school. I was working. I was doing my own business. I had an interior design business. I was doing my MBA at the same time. I was also doing some jewelry business, you know, different things. You know, I was in Lagos, so everybody has to also. We had to do what we can to actually, you know, to survive at least legitimately. So I was doing all of these things and doing all of this business and still doing an MBA because I couldn't get a job. And I was hoping that maybe getting an MBA would help me to secure a job. But 2016 came, and the most interesting thing happened. I realized I was also teaching. I forgot to add, I was also teaching lessons. I was doing home tutoring for kids in primary school, about 2 kids, right? So I was a very busy person. I've always been busy. I've always been hardworking. I've never shied away from working. I've always loved working because I know that this is where you're working that you will eat, right? So I realized at a particular point in time, that 2016, that it became harder for me to actually use pens to write. It became harder for me to actually string my jewelry when I was making beads. I started having severe pains in my hands and in my knees and in my legs. So I complained to my mom, and she was like, "Oh, go to the hospital and go and do an X-ray. Maybe you have a fracture. Maybe you fell." I'm like, "I don't remember falling." But I went to the hospital anyway, did an X-ray for my hands and my legs, and the results came that the preliminary diagnosis is early onset rheumatoid arthritis. I laughed. I was like, I don't think this is my X-ray. I'm 25. How will I be having rheumatoid arthritis at 25? Arthritis happens to old people, not young people like me. At the time, I was 25. So I called my mom. I was like, this is what they said, but you know, I could see from the X-rays clearly that something was not right with my bones. I didn't need to be a doctor to even realize that something was wrong. You know, at the joints, you could see that normally your bones should be dense when you view your bones through an X-ray. My joints were very porous. You could almost see through them, almost as if there were holes in the joints, right? It was very interesting. And I could see it, but I couldn't believe it. I was like, that's not me. It can't possibly be me. I can't have that. And then I spoke to the doctor and they were like, okay, to be conclusive, let's do a blood test. You can actually do a blood test to find out, which I then did. And that was where, my world shattered that day. I would never forget that day at the hospital. They gave me the result. I opened it. I read everything that was there. And I just sat down there. I started crying because I couldn't believe my eyes. Now, there's something called the rheumatoid factor. Ranges from from 1 to 14, with 1 being the lowest and 14 being the highest. So when they do the blood test, they will then tell you your rheumatoid factor for you to see how severe your case is. My rheumatoid factor was 11. The worst case scenario was 14. I sat down there, I was crying. I called my mom and she was like, it's okay, it's not the end of the world and everything. I made the mistake of going to Google what early onset rheumatoid arthritis is. And if you've Googled any symptoms of your illness before, you know that Google always tells you that you're about to die, right? So it was really, really, scary for me to have to live with that, it almost felt like my world was over, my life was over, and I kept seeing one word there saying disability, 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 disability. And I refuse to let that register in my mind. I'm like, I refuse to be labeled as disabled simply because of one illness that some doctors said I have, right? After a period of time, I had to put my hands in cast because the pain was so much. I had to scrap wearing high heels for a long period of time. I was told I would never have to lift weights again until at least I got myself to correct my rheumatoid factor. I was given certain drugs, glucosamine, chondroitin, and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, those drugs had a side effect in that they caused short-term memory loss. So I was taking those drugs, about 14 tablets every single day for 1 year. I did not know that taking those drugs were causing me to actually forget. I started finding out that I was losing track of time. I was losing track of the days. I couldn't remember what day it was. I couldn't remember what I needed to do. And I realized that somebody like me who prided myself in being able to remember things, right? I found myself forgetting sometimes even what I was supposed to be doing in the next minute. I found myself forgetting what day it was. It was a horrible experience to live through. That was back in 2017. But I decided, and it was a choice that I made. I could choose to live my life as a disabled person and having to deal with all of these things because of the early onset rheumatoid arthritis, and I get to feel a lot of pain. Many of the symptoms that people who suffer from sickle cell anemia have, especially as regards the crisis and the pains, that I get them sometimes. It's really bad. There are days where you can't get out of bed. There are days where you can't hold a pen or even type on your phone. Some of you understand what I'm talking about. All right, but at least it's nowhere even compared to what people who have to deal with sickle cell anemia, deal with. But it's still bad, right? And those were my challenges back in 2016. But I made a choice after I was done crying and being sad and depressed. I made a choice that I could either decide to live my life as disabled and accept my fate and believe that my life was basically over and that I can only select what I can do and what I cannot do. Or I could decide to overcome that obstacle and build something different, because I had to quit my jewelry business. I had to quit my tutoring. I had to quit my interior design business because I could no longer climb and measure and put up blinds and so on and so forth, because they were very tasking for me at the time. I had to quit all of those things. I had to also drop out of school at the same time. But it led me to ask myself, if I cannot do all of these things, what else can I do? So instead of me sitting down and feeling sorry for myself, I had to ask myself, what else can I possibly do? So I discovered the world of online business and thought leadership. That's late 2016 and into early 2017. I wrote a book in 2016, became a bestseller. I wrote a second book 7 months after that book, and the book just changed my life. The second book I wrote was a book to describe how I actually wrote and published that first book onto Amazon and become a bestseller. And it's just catapulted me, and it's the reason why I am here today. It's the reason why I have the career that I have today, and I'm absolutely grateful. I'm absolutely in love with it. I was one of the first people back then in 2017 to start singing the alarm and singing the gospel of Nigerians need to get published internationally. Nigerians can become internationally published authors. We can become bestsellers as well. Back when nobody believed we could, right? Because of all the challenges that we face. But I proved that we could do it. And once people saw me doing it, they also believed that they could do it as well. And I realized that my life is one of possibilities and showing people what's possible, right? And I'm hoping that I'm going to also show you how to do that today again, all right? That anything is possible as long as you put your mind and your heart to it. Okay. So I went from writing and publishing that book to having a business, creating courses, to teaching classes. But I have a class by 8 o'clock pretty soon, to coaching, to consulting, to speaking internationally, to actually having my own international events. I've done 2 international events so far as at the time of this broadcast. And all because I refuse to give up. I refuse to let my current situation and the health challenges that I'm facing, stop me. Early onset rheumatoid arthritis isn't exactly curable, right? But it's manageable. And you usually manage it with either those drugs that cause the side effect for me that I started having memory loss, or you can manage them with painkillers, of which if you came early, you remember I talked about the fact that I'm allergic to practically all the painkillers. So I can't treat it and I cannot manage it. I can't treat it with the drugs because the drugs cause me to have memory loss. Then I can't manage it because the painkillers, I'm allergic to all of them. All right. So I had to now start looking for other ways to be able to manage it. I started looking for more natural remedies like essential oils, like using infrared lamps and so on and so forth, things that, were more natural for me. Right. But anyways, the great thing is I've been able to learn how to master my body. I've been able to learn how to build my threshold for pain so that even if I'm sitting down here and I'm in serious pain, you will not be able to tell from my face. And if I go out and I'm looking all nice and tush, you will never be able to tell that I'm having to deal with early onset rheumatoid arthritis every single day of my life. And I do not want to have that look that people are like, oh, she looks like something is wrong with her. Let's go ask her and then let's feel sorry for her. I hate anybody feeling sorry for me. I don't like anybody telling me sorry at all. So I do my best every single time to make sure that I don't look like whatever my body is currently feeling. I always look better than I feel. All right. So that being said, it doesn't mean that there are no challenges when it comes to balancing your health and your work. There are challenges. So like I said, I can't treat it. I'm basically just managing and using natural remedies, which only provide very temporary relief, right? But I realized that one of the best ways to be able to manage work-life balance is to decide that you are actually going to be intentional about your life, that you're going to be intentional about managing and balancing your work and your life. All right. For many people who have online businesses, for example, it's almost very hard. In fact, it's very impossible to separate your life from your work. And it can have very, very drastic effects on your health. It took me years to actually realize this. Years and years, because I found out that, because I could work from home, because I could do all of these things, I found out that I started working 7 days a week. And because I'm a workaholic and I have a serious, crazy work ethic, I am constantly working. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and be approving posts on my group and be answering emails and stuff like that when I'm not supposed to. All right. So because I was doing that, I was constantly putting my body under stress. And the more you put your body under stress, the more you're prone to falling ill more often. Fatigue is a real thing, and fatigue causes your immune system to be very, very diminished. And when your immune system is diminished, you open yourself up to various kinds of illnesses. All right. So how do you manage your work in the midst of a health crisis? Now, this is when I'm talking about when you actually fall sick. When you're actually sick, you're probably in the hospital, or you're on the bed, or you had to stop everything because you cannot go on anymore. What do you need to do? If you're in a health crisis, I don't need to tell you this. The first thing you need to do is to stop. Whatever it is that you're doing, stop. I remember back in July, I had worked from March till June, and I was just going like a robot until in July I actually collapsed in the middle of a supermarket. From nowhere, I just collapsed because I had worked myself to exhaustion. And that was a wake-up call for me. The entire month of July and part of August, I just took it to rest. I turned off my phone, turned off my social media. I just focused on getting better. And I realized that the 1 month that I was away, the business went on without me. My community went on without me. People continued to live their lives without me, right? They did not need me. And that's something that many of us usually have, and that's the savior complex. We feel like if you are not showing up and if you are not there, that people will not live their life and nothing's going to happen. That's not true, right? You can only work, you can only make an impact when you are alive and healthy. So when you are in the middle of a health crisis, the first thing you want to do is just stop. Stop, not just take a break, but just stop. That's the first thing you need to do. Stop, drop everything, leave everything. It doesn't matter. Like I had like events 20 days out of the 31 days of July. I just sent every one of them message. I'm like, sorry, I cannot do. I had a training with Keystone Bank the day before, the day after I collapsed or so, or no, the 2 days after I collapsed. By the next morning, I just sent a message, say, please, I'm not training, I'm sick, I'm not doing. They didn't kill me, they didn't find me, they found someone else to replace me. And it was amazing how quickly they replaced me. And it taught me something. You are very, very replaceable. Even if you die tomorrow, somebody else will come and take your position and take your place. You are very replaceable. So it's important that you take care of your health first. Self-care when you're managing a health crisis is not a want, it's not a luxury, it is a necessity. You must always learn to take care of yourself. All right, there will always be problems in this world. As we say in Nigeria, problems not they finish, right? But you don't have to be the one solving all of those problems. You don't have to be the one solving all of those problems. Other people will take care of themselves. You need to take care of yourself first because nobody else will do it for you. It's very, very important. All right. Self-care is important and it's a necessity for you. Have rest days. I'm learning now to take rest days, at least 2 days in a week to rest where I'm not working at all. And it has done me a world of good. It's helped me to rest. It's helped me to think. I've become more creative because I actually have time away from my work. When you're constantly putting your face in your work, it is hard for you to see creative ideas all around you. So it's important for you to also take time very often to step away from your work so that you can refresh and you can see other creative ideas around you as well. All right. So self-care is important. Take rest days as much as you can, even if it's start with 1 day first, 1 day in a week, then go to 2 days in a week as much as you can. Take rest days off. If you're currently going through a crisis or if you're in the middle of a crisis, just take all the days off to just first of all get yourself back together. All right. If you're going through a health crisis, don't say, okay, I only take 1 day off and come back the next day. No, take all the time you need to get yourself back, because if you don't do that, when you eventually fall sick again, you will now take a longer time. Maybe you get admitted in the hospital and you spend a longer time in the hospital than you would have if you actually took time to take care of yourself. All right. Then number 2, pay attention to your body. Your body is always talking to you. Your body is always speaking. Whenever you feel a strain here, or you feel a headache that is just at the back of your head that is not going, or you're feeling that you're unable to sleep at night, those are signs that something is up with your body and that you need to stop and rest. Pay attention to your body. Listen to the signs. Have a journal if you can. Have a health journal where you actually write down every single day what happened with your body. Oh, I was able to eat two meals in a day. I couldn't eat the third time. I lost my appetite. Or I've been finding that the past couple of days, I've been having very, very low appetite. That could mean that something is wrong with your body. That means that you should stop and pay attention. All right. Things like your hair falling out, all of a sudden you realize that your hair begins to fall out. It's a sign that something is up with your body. Or your eyes are becoming bloodshot or becoming yellow. It's a sign. Or you find out that, when you open your eyes like this, you're pale or you're paler, your skin is paler than usual. It's a sign, right? You find out that maybe you're having sore throat or you're having sore gums in your mouth, or when you brush your gums bleed. It's a sign. Or you find out that you're either constipated or you have diarrhea or dysentery. They are all signs. All right. So pay attention to your body. Look for things that may be up, that may be telling you that it's time for you to rest, that it's time for you to take a break, that fatigue is imminent, and you need to stop and you need to rest. All right. So that's number two. Pay attention, and whenever you start feeling strained, stop. Whatever it is you're doing, stop. If you need to postpone an event or you need to postpone the meeting, do so. All right, do so. They can talk all they want, it's their business. Because if you're dead and you do not attend the meeting again, they will move on. Remember, you are replaceable. If anything happens to you, they will find a replacement for you as soon as as soon as possible. Even if you go to your work in a job, call in sick, tell them I cannot come, I'm very sick. Because if anything should happen to you, they will not cry and leave the position open in honor of you. No, the next day they are looking for who will fill your position. All right. So your health is more important than anything. Health is the greatest wealth. All right. Number three, don't forget to care for your body. Don't forget to care for your body. If you have drugs that you need to be taking every day, take them. Don't miss your drugs. All right. If you have things that you need to take to make sure that you are in optimum health, take them every day. Do not miss your drugs. All right. If you have things that you need to make sure that you have proper functioning of your body, take them. If you have a particular health challenge and you need to manage it using drugs, don't miss your drugs. If you're pregnant and you need to manage your pregnancy using drugs, do not miss your drugs. Right. So make sure that you take care of your body, and that includes taking your drugs if you have to, and taking them at the right time and in the right dosage. If you miss a dose, doesn't mean that you not overdose in the next one that you want to take. No, just take the dose for that particular time and then continue again. All right. If you need to take your drugs with you at all times, do so. Don't be embarrassed to put your drugs in your purse or your bag or your wallet as you're going about your daily business. So someone like me, for example, that I have spontaneous and allergic reaction, my inhaler is always in my bag, Piriton, prednisolone, they're all in my bag every time. If I'm going anywhere, even if it's to the supermarket, I always have something in my bag just in case. And it has saved my life many, many times. All right. So always have your drugs in hand. Make sure that you don't run out and you cannot replenish. See what's happening now with all these, incessant lockdowns and all of these things. You need to make sure that you are stocked up. Always have at least 1 month of supply of your drugs in your house at all times, just in case. Right. Number four, learn to delegate. If you're like me and you like to be a Miss Perfectionist or Mr. Perfectionist, it can be very hard to do. All right. Or, you like to micromanage everything, so you cannot trust somebody else to work on your business for you or with you. It's very bad. You need to learn how to delegate. Learn to get somebody who you trust and who you can train, who is teachable at least. They may not necessarily be the best immediately you hire them, but you can teach them and they are willing to learn so that you can delegate. You don't have to do everything in your business. I will tell you that my life changed when I hired an assistant, right? My life changed when I hired an assistant to help me, especially as regards customer care, because customer care is the most intensive part of my business, where everybody's messaging you. I did not see the thing that I downloaded. I've paid, but I did not get receipts, this and that. My assistant just handles everything for me, and I can go to bed in peace. Or people's posts that need to be approved on my community, I don't do post approvals again. My assistant does all of that. I had to, I've done a number of live trainings with her or orientations with her to teach her, how to do these things. And that's the best thing to do. The time you take to teach that person to help you, right? It will save you a whole lot of time. All right. So you can teach somebody and help you learn to delegate. If you can afford to hire an assistant, a paid assistant, hire one. If you can get interns to work with you to to get experience on the job while they work for free, you can also, get that done as well. Have a team member, have a team player so that you can easily delegate. It is not fun to do a one-man business. There is no person that has done a solo business that has actually grown to become absolutely successful. Absolutely nobody. All right. You become successful when you're able to delegate so that you have time to make the bigger decisions, while the smaller decisions and the other smaller tasks are being done by somebody else. You cannot have time to work on very big, very profitable projects if you're the one doing the website updates, if you're the one posting on your blog all the time, if you're the one doing all the graphic design, if you're the one doing all the customer care and replying to every single post, every single comment, every single inquiry that everybody makes. You won't have the time, and it will drain you. It will drain you faster than somebody that is sucking fuel from another person's car. All right. It will drain you really, really fast. So learn to delegate. It's important. I cannot stress this enough. Learn to delegate. All right. Then number 5, it's important to keep a positive outlook on life. I know that, I mean, I'm in your shoes sometimes, where some days you wake up and everything hurts. Everything hurts. You can't even put your leg on the ground. It's painful. I understand. And you just want to just be done. You just want to be done. But it's important to always keep a positive mindset and a positive outlook on life, because our mind usually quits long before our body. In fact, our body quits before our mind does. All right, our body quits before our mind does. But when you quit in your mind, you're done. If you quit in your mind, your body is automatically checked out. So always make sure that you give a positive attitude to life, even though your body may be going through hell and high water. Take the time to care for yourself and believe that you will come back better. If you don't believe that you will come back better, you wouldn't. You see a lot of people who survive all kinds of illnesses or accidents or strokes and so on and so forth. Many times they will tell you that it's the power of the belief that actually helped them make a full recovery. If you give up in your mind, your body will give up on you, because your body is a function of what you feed your mind. If you tell yourself and you tell your body, I am going to make a full recovery, in fact, I am strong, you tell yourself and tell your mind long enough, your body begins to respond to that. All right. So it's important that you know that. Then, share your journey with others as well. People in your community, talk to them if you're feeling down. People will always be there to encourage you, right? People who understand your struggles, you can share with them. If you have family that understand and support you, you can share with them. If your family doesn't understand and support you, do not share anything with them. I would like to put that out, because many times some people's family can be very discouraging. So if your family is discouraging, then you don't need to talk to them about anything, but talk to members of your community who understand your struggle, who are able to empathize with you, and who are able to encourage you, not just tell you sorry and pity you, but also encourage you, so that you can get back up. All right. Also listen to other people's stories as well. People who inspire you, who've been able to beat the odds and still succeed. Listen to their stories as well. They also help to motivate and inspire you. Then have a daily schedule and don't overwhelm yourself. All right. So while you're on the mend, try as much as possible to not do anything. And as you recover gradually, don't just dump everything. Don't rush and do everything that you did not do when you were recovering. Take it one day at a time. Take it one step at a time. Gradually ease into the work. Don't just pack everything, because you would overwhelm yourself again. And many times we think we are a lot better than we actually feel. So you think, oh, I'm ready, I'm recovering already, I've recovered, I'm fine, but your body is still taking time to heal. And when you start loading yourself again, you just undo everything that you had done when you were trying to recover, right? So don't overwhelm yourself with work. Gradually ease into the work when you are done recovering. And with these few tips of mine and with these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to help you with some effective steps to how I manage my work in the midst of a health crisis. And I hope you can also do that as well. So thank you so much for having me. If there are any questions, I'll be very happy to take your questions.
Thank you so much. In fact, I was telling some people, I said there are some people that should be on this talk, because if they are needed, apart from me, I took some pointers. I'm like you, Miss Perfection. So yes, there's quite especially for people who are into business and they are trying to jostle their health and their business as well. It's quite enlightening. So if we have any questions, you can post, or you just want to make a comment, just post it. I know they've been enjoying what you're saying, talking about and I, funny enough, the previous speaker talked about a journal or a health journal, putting she called it a pain journal, how you feel on a particular day. And I think it's something that we need to be deliberate about when we're trying to manage and balance our lifestyle, because sometimes we just keep going and going like ever-ready battery, and we forget that the body too needs to shut down for a while, Yes. So do I have any questions? Yes, Joy says, don't overwork yourself. Take it with ease. Comrade says, you can have all and make all work for yourself. Work yourself. You can have all. I didn't get that, but I guess it means that you can have all and make it work for yourself. Yeah. So I don't think there's any, but there's something I was going to ask, just to add to this when you were talking about your own challenge, because I always, this program is even not only for people with sickle cells, for anybody who wants to put their health in a higher game, because I realize that we tend to neglect that part of us. I keep telling
Yes.
people, if you can take a car for servicing, your body too needs servicing. And we forget that, and we negate a lot of things in trying to help our body acclimatize to different situations. So I was going to ask, in terms of work, there are situations where maybe somebody is like running a business. You said you got an assistant. Some people may not be lucky enough to get somebody to assist them. How do you manage that in trying to, because a lot of times we are solo agents and we're like worried that if I don't go to my business today, especially for business people, my customers will go somewhere, or I won't be able to do this and all that, I'll make money. So how do we balance that?
Okay, that's a very good question. So when I was talking about delegating, I said if you can't afford to pay for an assistant, you can actually get interns. You can open up, make a post and say, well, I'm looking for interns, people who are interested in getting experience in this particular area, who want to work with somebody to gain experience. Because many times young people, come out of school and they're telling you, you need 5 years experience. And you're like, from where? I just graduated. But it's internships that help you with these experiences. Even while you're in school, you need to learn to be at least interning during your vacation and holiday. So many times you can put out a position and say, okay, I want to work with interns between the ages of maybe 18 and 23 or 25 who are looking to get some experience in their to boost up their CV. The position where you will learn. It's not a paid position where you're going to be afforded maybe trainings and learnings, maybe access to certain privileges that other people will not necessarily have. So, for example, before I had an assistant, I had another assistant who wasn't paid, but she had access to all of my trainings. She had access to everything that I was doing on the platform was absolutely free to her. All of my resources were absolutely free to her, and she had the opportunity to learn. And she grew, and she became so big. That was why I had to let her go. I'm like, okay, you can't be an assistant here anymore. You are your madam on your own. So I need to get somebody else. So the experience of her working with me gave her insight on how to also build her own business and how to build her own brand as well. And it was very beneficial to her. So you could do that where you actually take somebody under your wing, like a mentee sort of, who would intern with you, and then you can teach them. People will be very, very happy. There are a lot of young people who will be very happy to take on such positions. Then for periods of time when you are going to be like offline because you are trying to be on the mend and you're resting, it's as easy as putting out a message to your community. So when I was ill, I put out a message to my paying clients, my paying community members. I sent them messages for my Facebook group and my Instagram. They're not paying me, so I could afford to just go offline. I saw a lot of messages when I came back, but those who were on my paid program, my paid memberships, and so on and so forth, I had to send a message to them. I had to send a message to my coaching clients and to people that I was working with on their publishing deals. Say, hey, I'm ill, and right now I cannot afford to be working with you guys, so I'm going to take this whole month to rest. I promise that when I come back, I will make it up to you. And people are generally understanding. Everybody was like, oh, wow, we wish you, safe recovery and all of that. And they're very patient. I was off for a whole month, and that was it. And people were actually, happy that I was going to rest. And, people can be very, very nice, especially when you explain to them about things. So that's how you can also do that and, make sure that your paying clients don't run away. Being transparent with them, being open and being vulnerable with them as well. It helps.
Yeah, and I realize if it's somebody who's been giving them value and they understand what you give to them and they like what you give to them, I think you not really have that much of a problem. Is when maybe if you have not been reliable from beginning and you now give them this issue, they'll think that it's another excuse for you not doing what you're supposed to do. Olabisi says, Kemi says, I like your honesty. Yes. And then Olabisi says, her challenge is taking a rest, but I'm surely setting a day out to rest every week after this session.
It's very important.
Thank you so. Yeah. It's so even I am guilty of that. I keep telling myself that if I will say that after this I'm shutting down for a couple of
You have
I just shut
to.
it down because sometimes we take our body for granted and we just feel, oh, we need to keep doing and keep doing, and our mind is always full of different ideas. We think, okay, after the next thing, some other idea is coming up, and you're thinking, okay, let me start planning for that. But you need
Yeah.
to take a break, sit back, and then gather your strength to be able to start again. Yes. Yeah. Tepitope says, bring value to the table, very key. So thank you so much. It's been a very, very inspiring time. In fact, I'm going to edit this whole thing and send it to people who really need to listen to it because it's been very, very impactful. So guys, if you loved what Ediri gave out, please give your fire emojis, your claps, your hugs, your kisses, for her so that she's appreciated very much. So do you have any these are people, maybe they want to learn something from you, maybe they want to contact you, you can just tell them.
Okay, so my website is open. You have everything on my website. My website is just my name, edirinedewor.com. So if you go on my website, you see amazing resources. There are free resources. There are my books, my workbooks, and my blog, my YouTube videos that you can find everything on my website. Once you go to the website, even access to free PDFs that can help you. There's free stuff on productivity, how to be productive when you're working from home, and so on and so forth. So go to my website, edirinedewor.com, and you just see everything. I'm so happy that I actually got this website done in time. So I can say go to my website. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. It's been great having you. And I hope that you'll be able to answer another of our calls when we call upon you to inspire us.
I'm always available.
Thank you. Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All right, guys, that has been Edirin Edewor with Healthy Life Balance, and I'm sure you took a lot of nuggets. I saw somebody commenting, we hope so, Atito. Yes, I do. I will this time. Kemi, I promise you I will. All right, then. So we're going to prepare for our next, and it's going to be a fireside chat. We're talking about healthy living, healthy lifestyle for successful living, and it's going to have SACO, the comedian. We're going to have a fitness expert, Ruby Agu, and then we're having two mental health and addiction coaches, Maureen Nwachi and Lanre Agboola. So before they come on, we'll take a break.
Here are the things to do to avoid getting or spreading the coronavirus. Always wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water. Carry with you and use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer at all times. Avoid touching your face unnecessarily. When you cough or sneeze, do so in a bent elbow and not in your hands. If you cough or sneeze on a tissue, dispose immediately. Endeavor to wear a face mask when you go out. Dispose of the face mask properly after use. Should you feel unwell and show symptoms, call the NCDC and follow their instructions. Stay safe. Maintain social distance. Fidelity cares about you.
All right, then we're still waiting for our other guests to come on. And while they do, I'll be talking about one or two things we do at SAMI. Yes, we are NGO focusing on sickle cell, but our overall aim is to help people live healthy and positive lifestyles, whether directly or indirectly through sickle cell issues. And that is why we brought to you this Positive and Wellness Summit, especially at a time where there's so much going on with COVID, with the protests, there's so many things going on that sometimes our mental and emotional health can be affected. And we need to boost our immunities. We need to become resilient. We need to even practice self-care on a regular basis so that we can able to cope in the challenges ahead. Because the reality is, like I always tell people, challenges will come. Whether you're living with sickle cell, whether you're just having a regular job or a business, challenges will come. Imagine the people whose shops were destroyed. I'm sure when they went to bed the previous day, they never realized this was what was going to happen to their shop. But that is the reality we face, and we definitely have to find a way of bouncing back by building her physical, emotional, and spiritual strength. So we're still waiting for some of our guests. In the meantime, don't forget, we'll have another round of quiz for you to win some data, and we'll be right back.
And I'm the founder of Green Hill Recycling. Green Hill Recycling is a social enterprise that is addressing the poverty and unemployment issues in Nigeria using recyclable solid waste as the currency of exchange. The experience as an entrepreneur in the waste management sector has been bittersweet. It's been a roller coaster. The rewarding part is the fact that you can, create jobs for people. Through waste, you can put food on the tables of people. No, I'm happy to be a woman. I don't think things would have worked any differently if I was a male. There are certain doors that open better because you're a woman. There's a soft spot, I believe, for women. And if women are charting this territory that men are also, able to survive or flourish in, I'm happy to be one of those women who are breaking barriers in the waste management sector. Yes. Fidelity Bank is one of the few SME-focused banks in Nigeria, and last year I got into the SME Connect pitching competition. I emerged second place, and I was given ₦1 million to support my business. That fund went into helping to purchase a billing machine. So we've been able to move from collection to processing through the support of Fidelity Bank. I would say to any female entrepreneur listening to me out there that there are no barriers anymore. If you are sure about what business your gut feeling is saying you should go into, please go for it. And while in the process, stay focused, stay resilient, and don't give up.
We are Fidelity. We keep our word.
Okay, all right. It seems some of our guests have issues coming on. So, Lanre, hi. I don't know why you're the only one who's able to log on.
Hi.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. Maybe it's network.
Maybe, I don't know.
I've logged on like 3. I've watched, is it Edewor or something? I just watched the ending part. Yes. I watched the ending part.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep trying to get people on. I don't know what's going on. I'm supposed to be able to see them like I saw you and I add you, but we're having some technical issues with that. So we hope we can get them on. But in the meantime, so that I don't keep people waiting, there are many people who are waiting, you know, and they're really wanting us to start. So that's it.
Okay.
So I apologize, guys. We just want to sort out a technical issue, and then we'll come back after this. You know, sorry about that. So that we can sort out our challenges.
Here are the things to do to avoid getting or spreading the coronavirus. Always wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water. Carry with you and use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer at all times. Avoid touching your face unnecessarily. When you cough or sneeze, do so in a bent elbow and not in your hands. If you cough or sneeze on a tissue, dispose immediately. Endeavor to wear a face mask when you go out. Dispose of the face mask properly after use. Should you feel unwell and show symptoms, call the NCDC and follow their instructions. Stay safe. Maintain social distance. Fidelity cares about you.
All right. Okay. Hi, Ruby.
Good evening. Good evening. Finally here.
Yeah, I have a feeling there was some issue with the link that they were using. I think that's what happened.
Okay, I see, because I was there and
the session link. Okay. Yeah. So I hope they'll be able to come on. But in the meantime, yeah, I just want to kick off this session by asking a question. Healthy lifestyle. Lanre, what does it mean to you, living a healthy lifestyle? Because we hear this a lot. When your own personal view.
Okay, hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Yes, I can hear
you. Yes, living a personal lifestyle, right?
Healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
Healthy lifestyle.
Healthy lifestyle.
I think for me, it's just, as you said, it's a personal thing. How you want to live healthy is personal to you. It all depends on what you eat, from what you read, what you do, and the way you walk your life. For at least we have 24 hours in a day. Yeah. And out of the 24 hours, you need to live a healthy life, especially with what you eat into your system. Starting from your food, your dish, your fruits, and your workouts, exercising yourself. Then your friends, you need to be around with people that can motivate you, make you laugh. Then your work too should be part of your healthy living life. Even if you don't have work, at least one thing or the other should make you to know that your health is important. As I said, health first before any other. So for me, healthy life, starting from you have a good sleep, having a good exercise, a healthy eating, a healthy food, like healthy diet, and so all that in you think, because it is personal. So what works for me might not work for the other person. So what you know it works for you, please do it. And for me, that's what it's called, personal healthy living.
Okay, Ruby.
First of all, to me, lifestyle actually means a way of living, right? Now, personal lifestyle means each and every one of us how we have decided to follow our own lifestyle, individual lifestyle, right? Now, a healthy lifestyle is what you have decided in your own self that is neat and clean. That's what a healthy lifestyle means to me. Now, it's how you eat, it's your exercise, the way you sleep, your sleep pattern, the way you interact with people, and the way you interact with your spiritual in your spiritual life, because there's spiritual wellness, there's the fitness, the physical wellness, there's the mental wellness as well, and it's just an all-encompassing thing. It's all-encompassing. That's to me.
Yeah.
So it's just a way of living and how you choose to live that life.
Yeah, yeah. So we now have, thankfully, Maureen, Lanre, my co-anchor, and then SACO in the building. So Maureen, what was first starting with us? We're asking the question, what is a healthy lifestyle to you?
Okay, so I have to answer that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so a healthy lifestyle. So I would say it's about taking care of yourself. Trying to be healthy in all aspects as best as you can when it comes to mental wellness, physical wellness, and social wellness too. Because your environment matters, the people you hang out with matters a lot too. So I'll say all that has to do with healthy lifestyle. So
Okay, all right. So Larry, you're muted, so you best mute yourself. SACO, you're also muted. So what I will ask is, in your own scheme of comedy and all that, what is a healthy lifestyle to you? Okay, you released the hot audio only. That's why. Okay, you're back. What happened? I think somebody. SACO, you went on audio only for some reason. Okay, Larry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. So let's kick off this thing because I know we always have technical issues, but no worries. We'll get back to it. Yes. So I want to ask, but Ruby, this is for you because you are a fitness person. You're in the nutrition, fitness, and weight
SACO
loss.
Is back.
Okay, let me add it.
Yes,
But
he's okay, he's back now.
I think it's something he's doing it. That's the fun of technology anyway. So
I think there's network problem.
Yes, exactly. Let me put Maureen back on. So she's it's one of the challenges we have to face. So I was asking, based on we're talking about healthy lifestyle. Is healthy lifestyle realistic, especially in a country like Nigeria where everything is rat race? You close late, you enter traffic for how many hours before you get home? You're tired. You're just looking for the fastest thing to prepare. You wake up in the morning. You're rushing. You prepare the food for the kids, and you look for the fastest thing to prepare for the kids, and then.
So it is realistic. It is realistic actually, right? But like with everything in Nigeria, it's a struggle. It is a big struggle. I can say for a fact because so I own a gym, right? And I see how it is hard for people to cope. I tell them these things, I give them strategies that they can actually use to do these things, which on a very good day can be very easy if you just look at it like that. but practically it's not always easy. Now I tell them, go to bed early, wake up early. When you wake up early, you prepare for the kids so that you'll be of sound health and all of that. Then you go to the gym, exercise, even if it is just 30 minutes. Then from the gym, you go to work. Now, that's just almost not possible, because first of all, they cannot go to bed early if they come back late from work. Do you understand? So that's just it. It's practical, but it's a struggle. That's the way I see it. Oh, she's gone off too.
She has gone off.
Oh, wow. Network is crazy.
Yeah. She has gone off.
Okay, Maureen is back.
Yeah, Maureen is back. Auntie Toyin, can you hear us?
I don't think she's here. Oh,
I'm here.
She's trying
sorry, I didn't know I was out. Yes, sorry about that.
Okay.
So I was asking Lanre, from your own point of view, do you think it's realistic? From a guy's point of view, let's face it.
For me, I don't think it is okay. Yeah, no. I understand what Ruby is saying, because she owns a gym. She can testify to it. How many people comes to the gym? Because it's easy to say, but as she said, when it comes to the practical, that is where the wala is. Do you know what? I'm stuck in traffic in Suluri. I stay in K2. I need to park my car for me to attend to this. Now, when I get home, you tell me to go to the gym. Where is the time for me to go to the gym? So rather, maybe I should bring the gym to my house.
Which is always very hard. That's another problem humans have. It takes a different level of discipline to be able to gym or work out at home. Yes. It's a different story. Sorry, entirely.
What I do is this. I check what I eat at the particular time, because I know I'm going to get home late. So when I get home late, I eat light or I take fruit, because I know I will not do any exercise. I will not.
Yeah, so that you will not see your ancestors in your dream, because if you don't eat, you're definitely going to see your ancestors in your dream.
I will even eat in the dream. There's no biggie there. Me, I used to eat in the dream. It's hunger that makes me to eat in the dream. Do you get that?
Yeah.
So it's not for me. Yeah, it's the practical way, especially in Lagos. We will talk about other parts, maybe like Abuja. You can do that. You can get home on time. But Lagos, you can't predict the time you're going to get home. You have to wake up early. You have to wake up as early as possible to meet up your time.
It's tough.
And when you get to work, you are just going for work. And what I do for work is, they tell us in our work, we have a safety manager. You tell you don't sit down more. Don't sit more on your seat. When you stand up, walk around, take a walk. Those are the part of the walking exercise. Climb staircase and come down.
I always advise people to
don't
do
use
that.
This with sit chair and move like this and move like this just because you don't want to stand up. And then you go into your car, you stay in the traffic for almost 6-7 hours. You get home, you are tired. You are even stressed. So your timing of your food, you should take note of that. What you eat in the morning, you take a light breakfast. In the afternoon, make sure you eat real solid food. In the afternoon, just eat it. Maybe it's
nutritious, solid food, something that is nutritious.
Eba with vegetable is good. At least we know in our food we eat vegetable a lot. Let's just be frank. In Nigeria, we eat vegetable a lot. Anything vegetable, it's vegetables, all vegetables inside. So you eat eba.
But then again, we overcook our vegetables, and that's one bad habit we should actually overcome in Nigeria.
Ruby,
we always overcook.
I'm a selective person when it comes to food, and that's why I don't really. I don't get food outside, because I needed to know the source of the food, how they make it and stuff. So rather I will stay hungry, or I take food from the house or something like that. But if I'm going to buy something like that, I know where I'm buying the food from, and I know they have not overwashed the vegetable. They're just giving me leaf to chop like a goat. So it is for me. It is going to be for me. It is not practicable. I won't lie. In real Lagosian, with 95% Lagosian will tell you, except your office or your backyard, you're just going to.
How do you know that?
Well, I still stick to the fact. I still say it's practical, but it's a struggle. That's it's practical, it's doable, it's achievable, but it's a struggle.
5% of people will do it. Maybe most people living in Lekki or those big eyebrows.
No, it's not a location thing.
No, this is the truth. See,
it's not a location thing.
We need
Let
to
me
be
tell you. Look, I'm going to argue this. No. It's not a location thing.
We have to bring it
we
down.
Are real.
We have to bring it down.
We are real.
Let's bring it down to this.
Now,
see, I'm a street person.
Thank you. It's good that you have brought street. So let's see, right? We have strategically, we have all these malams selling fruits and vegetables on the streets. There's no street that doesn't have malam that sell fruits and vegetables, right? Now, there is nowhere you cannot get, even if it is bottled water or pure water, you will still see. Now, you can actually just get either carrots, cucumbers, or apple or watermelon from any of these malams. And you can use your bottled water or pure water to wash them very well, then you can eat. So it's very practical. You don't have to enter into any eatery. Yes.
I know.
Now you can even boil eggs and put in a cooler and go to work.
Can we consider people that don't really have much? This thing I know they are not expensive, but people that
500 naira. With 500 naira, you can eat very well and eat healthy.
The 500 naira, they will not use it to take fruit. They can't use it to eat fruit. It's fruit, see, not fruit.
One meat pie is 500 naira. Shay?
Yeah.
4 apples is 500 naira.
That person is not even thinking about the meat. So you choose your poison. They want to eat the real food and be okay.
but Larry, let's look. Okay, I understand where Ruby is coming from, and I understand where Larry is coming from in terms of you have to look at the average.
Yeah, we need to consider those people too.
But I am saying that it's not a location thing and it's not a status thing. That's all I'm saying.
No.
Okay.
It's not a status thing. It's not a location thing.
It's a status thing and a location thing.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, because the person that is even begging for 200 naira food who wants to go and eat, not to go and buy fruits. What I think is orientation.
It's orientation. Now, even the street people that sell food.
But Ruby, I was about coming in when you were talking about Ruby, quickly. Yeah. I was about coming in when you were talking about 500 naira to buy fruit. I am saying it's not a status thing. To be honest, an average Lagosian that uses 500 naira to buy fruit and learn fruit, the person is not your everyday guy. I'll give you a good example. Like, I'm being honest with you. Okay.
Oh no, I understand you.
Mega there, 500 card to go and eat. Papa is not thinking of fruits. He's thinking of where to buy agege bread and lamb tight.
That will hold him very well. Good.
Yeah,
now, yes, I understand you. Now let's move to swallow, right? So you have your regular Mama Sikira on the street, right? You have your regular Mama Sikira. She definitely sells obela and stew. Do you understand? Now, okra is a magic vegetable that a lot of people do not understand how blessed we are to have okra as a food in Nigeria, and it's just overflowing anyhow. It's actually a magic vegetable. So I personally, as a nutritionist, I don't advise people to eat semovita. Quite frankly, I don't know what semolina is made of. I don't care. I don't advise people to take pounded yam. But you see fufu and gari, that's eba. Those two are actually natural things. So, and those things can actually hold you very well. So if you buy your normal wraps of eba and buy your obela from Mama Sikira and she'll put stew for you and put fish, you can eat very well on a normal afternoon with 500 naira. That's still eating healthy. So that's your carbohydrate and your vegetable and your protein, which is your fish. So, you know, it's that's why I say you should choose your poison. Everybody should choose their own poison. Do you understand? Yes, it's true. It's very true. Because the truth of the matter is, let's look at it this way. You don't want to be in a situation where a doctor will tell you, if you don't take care of yourself, something is going to happen to you.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in that situation. I was there. That's why before they could tell me,
Is
I was.
that message for an average person?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Message from the doctor.
Of course.
Is it for an average person?
Oh yeah, well, yes. Okay. Yes. I think I was 115 or 120, and I was having some kind of heart problems, BP one thing, and they told me you really have to do something. Nobody told me. When my fitness trainer was telling me jump up and down, I was jumping. You understand that kind of thing? And I use that as a point of explanation to my clients now. Okay. And there's this saying that goes, if you don't take care of your wellness, you definitely will spend money on your illness. So you have to take care of yourself. And when you're taking care of your illness, it is more expensive than it would have been if it was just your wellness you were taking care of. It's definitely more expensive.
Sure.
Okay. I see Maureen is just smiling. Maureen, what's your take?
Oh my God. No, I remember this tweet I saw recently because of everything that is going on, and the person wrote that if your salary per month is 300K.
I saw it.
Just know, yeah.
That you just
know what I did.
Joined the poor man's class.
Yes.
And somebody said, what of we that collect
20K per month? 20K. I saw it too.
You guys say you are a hoodlum.
So
honestly, it's a crazy situation in this country.
As in,
it is.
So I'm just here wondering where they get to, how they come in.
Funny but true.
In all of this.
Oh, definitely. There's 100% truth in that. I mean, I don't know. I've not been able to think about the 20K own. I know there are people out there who receive 20K. I mean, even some of my staff, their own salaries, sometimes I shudder and I wonder, how do these people survive? But I know that there are some people there. Yeah, I know. I don't know. I've not been able to calculate that 20K on because I just saw it today and it sank in. You understand?
And they still survive. They still survive. They still wear clothes.
That is an idea. So to somebody on that 20K rate,
yes.
Ruby, quick one. To someone on that 20K axis. So how do you tell that person to pick his or her poison?
The person will just have to do because I'm telling you this now. I know people who receive 40,000 naira salary, and I know people who receive 50,000 naira salary. And I know these people try as much as possible to live on 2 meal a day, right? So I don't know about the 20,000 naira salary person. But if you ask me, that person is going to be doing a lot of pure water, a lot of Ijebu Gari, a lot of granite. The person is definitely going to be doing that. Now, Ijebu Gari is not that bad. I always tell people, if all else fails.
A lot of gala, don't forget, gala sausage.
See, that gala, there's no meat inside. I don't know why they paint. Is it color pink that they put inside? There's no meat inside. I don't know what they put inside.
It's only flour. Nothing is inside again.
Okay.
So I mean, when all else fails, I always tell people.
Wait. I think one of the things we are not getting here, Maureen, at least you have an idea. One of the things we are not getting here is the fact that these people did not only want to eat as a form of nutrition. People just want first put something for belly. You know, when you want to put something, make belly.
Good. Which is why I was talking about Gary. Now, you see that Gary, you cannot go wrong with it. I keep telling people, Gary is better than semolina because, quite frankly, what is semolina made of? You know your Gary is cassava. You see the process. It's not there's no chemical being added in it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's processed quite all right, but there's no chemical being added to it. So it's as healthy as they come. And that's why everybody is okay with it. Amala is a good thing too. Amala is another good thing. You know, personally, anybody that's trying to lose weight cannot eat amala constantly, but they are going to, I mean, it's good. That's all I can say.
You cannot eat amala constantly.
Somebody who eats
our balanced diet. Let's just take it.
I mean somebody who is on a strict weight loss diet. That's what I'm trying to say. If you're on a strict weight loss diet, you are practically a goat now. You're just going to be eating vegetables a lot. That's all.
That's why Miss Goat LD now.
So you're going to be eating lots of vegetables.
Okay, guys, let's look at it from this one. Let's divert a little bit to the average 9 to 5 guys. To the 9 to 5, the normal 9 to 5 people. Honestly, some of us find that very, very, very hard to keep to this your routine eating healthy thing.
Yes.
You understand? It's not because we don't want to, but because the time. I'll give you an example. Let me use myself for an example. Sometimes I leave home as early as 7 a.m. I don't get to get back home sometimes till 9, 10 in the evening. Do you understand what I'm saying now?
Yes.
Now, that type of person, I don't people advise, pack food, or for someone like us, we have a regular mama put that include this food. But apart from food, the diet part, how do such people maintain fitness? Because you spend
try as
half
much
of
as
your day
possible
on the chair in front of your system.
I was getting there. Try as much as possible to get off your chair occasionally. That's the secret of the people who are in the office. So I always tell them.
But you know, that's what I mentioned earlier on.
Yeah, he was not here when we talked about it. Yes.
Okay, you need to walk. If you have a staircase office, just climm the steps.
And then identify a long walkway.
Yes, don't take lift. Don't take lift. If you are walking in a high house, don't use the lift. Take a walk
as much. Another trick, a lot of us don't do this, but another trick is identify a spot where you can park your car that is kind of far from your office. So it affords you the opportunity to walk to your office.
And walk back when you want to pick your car.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
Larry is not having it at all.
Larry,
no, it's nice. Really, wait. Why I smiled is because you asked the people to park their cars somewhere far and then walk far,
just close to the office.
I'm just talking about a situation whereby the guy would now continue walking for the rest of God knows. You park your car somewhere. This is Lagos. You get back there.
No, because exactly. So that's why I said it earlier that these things are actually achievable. They are doable.
It happens in the UK.
Yeah, it happens in the UK. So, but what I'm trying to say is, I said it earlier, that is achievable, it's doable, but because of the Lagos factor and the Nigerian factor, there's always this struggle, right? So, even with the food, now we have people who sell healthy food, juicy salads and all of that, but they too are trying to cash out. They're not trying to help people. Do you understand? You see a bowl of salad for 2,500 naira. What is that for crying out loud? If somebody buys one salad for how many days are you going to buy it? Do you understand? Some people even sell 5,000 naira. Now, if they put themselves in a position to help people, like their MO says, that they're trying to help you live healthy, that would have been good, you know. They try to make it affordable so that you can buy and then you don't have to pack your food early in the morning, because there's this situation of you packing your food by 5 o'clock because you're leaving the house by 5:30, and then you don't get to eat lunch probably till 1 or 2. That food is not going to be fresh again now by that time. Do you understand? So, I mean, it doesn't even make any sense. So, yeah. So it's a struggle. It's achievable, but it's a struggle. That's just it.
Okay.
My own.
Okay. All right. I also like for us to also share light on a particular situation. And I'm talking about this situation of this morning can talk for me in this one. This late night thing, I'm still going back to our 9 to 5 people. This not eating late night. I'm going back to what because seriously, we have to be a little bit practical. I just give you an example. I left home 7 o'clock. I go back 9 in the evening. Hunger they kill me. Okay. You are telling me I should try and drink water or something.
Okay,
seriously,
Lanre,
on the face value, I feel.
Can I come in?
It sounds practical.
I come in?
Yes.
Yeah, can I come in? Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get home 10, 9. But what I do is this, I will have eaten by 6 in the office. 6 p.m. Latest 7. Yes. Or latest 7 p.m. Because I know I'm going on a long journey home. Maybe like 3 hours drive. So since I have since eaten by 7, before I get home, I know yes, the food don't digest. Yes, the next hunger is coming. What I need to do is to take a snack.
Because our bodies have a way of adjusting to.
Yes, I'll just take a snack and take maybe a glass cup of juice.
When I used to, example,
okay.
When I used to live at I used to live at Ipaja.
There's a delay.
And I walked in. Yes, I think there's a delay, so it comes in.
Go ahead, Maureen, anyway.
Okay, so I used to live at Ipaja, and I worked in Lekki, and at another time I was working in VI. So I get up like 4:30. I get ready for work. 5 a.m. I have to be at gate. If you know Ipaja, this Abeson Estate, so I have to be at that gate by 5 o'clock because there's a particular bus I always like going with. So it drops me straight in front of my. So maybe I take a short nap before work. So there's this thing with me. I must always have my breakfast. That one is must till tomorrow. Okay, so I have my breakfast. It might just be tea with bread or tea with a snack or custard and something like akara or even rice and beans. Okay, so I'll do that, and I'll make sure before the close of work, sometime late in the afternoon, between 3 and 4. That's when I'll usually have my lunch. So in between, I would have taken a lot of water. The days I can do fruits, I do fruits. The days I can do things like cashew nuts, groundnuts, I do that. The days I can't, maybe I just drink a lot of water. So I have my lunch between 3 and 4, and by 5 I've closed. So by the time I get home, it's very late. It's 9, 10, sometimes midnight, depending on Lagos traffic. And I just sleep and wake up. It just continues like that the next day. So I found that for somebody who used to eat maybe 3-4 square meals a day while I was lounging before I got a job and moved to Lagos, I found out that my body quickly adjusted. Somehow my body just adjusted to that routine. Until today, it's just like that. So even though I just 15 minutes away from work now, it's like that now. So I think.
Maureen, let me quickly ask you this question.
Always
I need to ask
something
ask you this one. Okay, you were saying for people that eat 2 square meals a day and all. For some of us, we don't even eat like 3 square meals. Some of us don't even eat unless we are hungry, and that is where the suicide angle comes in. I don't eat except I'm hungry.
That's not good.
What is the mistake, man? What is the mistake?
It's a mistake. You don't.
You're supposed to eat 3 square meals, no matter how small it is. Small, no matter how small it is.
Yes.
Because that way
it just won't flow.
Yeah. But then again, your body has the stored fats, right? So if you don't eat, your body just understands it that you are trying to starve it. Now, when your body understands that, it just takes it that, okay, this dude is trying to starve me. And when it sees that way, it goes into your body fat that it has stored and brings it out. That's when you see that, oh, but I don't eat. Why am I adding weight? That's the reason why you're adding weight. So not eating makes you add weight. Overeating makes you add weight. You just have to find a balance. So you're supposed to eat.
Please. Don't confuse my confusion, Ruby. Don't confuse my confusion. Come again. Not eating.
Not eating. Okay, so our body, like I said, our body has fat cells. Yes. Our body has fat cells, right? So where the natural fat is stored, like we human beings have to have a percentage of fat in our body. Now, if you do not eat, your body translates that as starvation. Then when it sees that it is being threatened, it goes into your body's stored fat to release fat. That is why you see when people say, but I know they eat, why I fat? Do you understand? So that's it. Your body now goes into starvation mode and stress mode. And for it to take care of itself, it now just travels down to your stored fat, your natural stored fat, and brings everything out. So if you don't eat, you add weight. If you overeat, you add weight. You have to find a balance. That's why they say everything has to be in moderation.
Okay. All right. Actually, I didn't want to continue this line of conversation because in my mind, I want to ask SACO a question, but because in my mind, Ruby, you guys, Ruby, Maureen, you guys just confused me. I know why. I'll tell you. In my mind now, what I'm telling myself, boy talk, boy die. Boy no talk, boy die. So why you just did? Just carry yourself.
But that's just it. You should eat actually.
Okay. So, SACO, you met us on a particular discussion. How many times do they eat in a day? How many times do you eat in a day?
Well, I do three. I do three.
Okay.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. It's a great honor to be on this panel. Thank you. Okay. So I eat. You know, at the beginning we're talking about lifestyle. And then three, and then you were talking about bringing the gym to the house. Sometimes it's even difficult that you have the gym. I don't have a gym in my house, but I lose weight because of the financial responsibility that I carry. I lose a lot of weight. I don't even stress myself. When I get some debit alert, I lose weight. I just know that I'm light. I tell you, I've not been to the gym for a long time. I have 3 children. I have a sister-in-law stay with me and my wife. And if they get hold of my ATM, it's our ATM. So I don't. Honestly, even if I eat too much,
a lot of people actually react to stress by adding weight. I, for one, I react to stress by adding weight.
I react to stress by losing that. My tummy, I've been working. I only this. I think I'm stressed. When you get some financial, especially when you are changing diaper, and the diaper you just change it in another 20 minutes, your son has wee wee, and it's painful.
Exactly. You have to change it. You'll be thinking of a new carton. You'll be thinking of a new carton.
I almost microwaved the other day. The diaper my son was wearing. Because simple wee wee. My wife said it was wet. It was painful. I first slept. I said, "People, you can't waste this diaper. It's painful." We grew up using nappies. I grew up using nappies.
That you can wash.
That you can wash. Most of us look like Tarzan then. Do not put hero in our eyes and beads. But now you can't use this thing for this children. They say it's old school. It's painful. It's all this lifestyle, but for lifestyle, if there's anything I've learned, if there's anything I've learned this period, especially this COVID-19 period, one of the things that Tony Robbins shared with us when I was, connecting with him, he said you have to be in charge of your happiness. You have to be in charge of your happiness. No one can give you happiness. It has to be a lifestyle. And what you do consistently for 21 days becomes an habit. So, like you said, you had an habit of what you were eating in the morning. It became an habit. You have to be in charge of your happiness. You must not allow anything. I had some few days ago, I had some challenges. I had some financial challenges. And you will never know that I just put on Netflix. I connected to the Wi-Fi.
Exactly.
That's the way to go. Number of movies I've watched in 2 days now. In fact, I didn't want to share with my wife because I didn't want her to be disturbed. It was the next day I told her, babe, that stuff we're expecting. It didn't click again. And she said, how are we going to? I said, babe, God is going to sort it out. And I began to share testimonies of the thing because I'm a Christian. I began to share testimonies of how God delivered us from the past. How just when he was getting to a place of embarrassment, he sorted us out. So that's the best. I check my blood pressure all the time. In fact, the last time I checked, the lady said, "Hey, don't you think?" I said, "What am I thinking about? What am I thinking about? Anything that happens, it's a phase. It will pass." So let me allow you to elaborate.
That's mental wellness right there. That's actually
Exactly.
mental wellness.
That's where I want to. That's where I want to even turn to. Like Maureen, unfortunately Larry had to leave us because he's in traffic. So, but in terms of we talked about. No, he's not. He's not back. It's somebody else. He's our next guest waiting for it. Yes. Yes. It's the other Larry. Yeah. So in terms of mental health, we're talking about stress and putting on weight and all that. How can we? I know it's not easy to avoid stress. As I said, there's positive stress and negative stress. I think the negative stress is the one that helps us get sick and all that. So how can we balance that in terms of our health? And I'll also go to SACO. Now, as a comedian, a comedy is very important in terms of smiling. We're talking about watching Netflix. I use Netflix and go to comedies or reality music shows to lower my stress. How can we help our mental health through that? And how can comedians even push that to help people, especially during this time? There's so much depression and frustration. So Maureen, I'll start with you.
Okay, so during this time, it's really crazy this time around. So we've heard a lot of or seen a lot of protect your mental health, avoid what you watch or what you read and all that. So I'll start by saying people should just learn a way to keep off, just stay away from anything that would give them any form of distress, any form of psychological distress. They should just try and keep away from it. It could be like Edirin said earlier, it could even be from family or from friends. So just try and keep away. I know I used to have a very good friend. I mean, we used to be flatmates at some point when I was in school. My very good friend and immediately whenever I call her, the first thing is, babe, how far now? Any guy on board? Anything happening this year? And it's still happening immediately after she got married. It was becoming too much. And one day I just told her, see, babe, if I call you and you don't have any other thing to say to me other than any guy on board or any, I beg, just forget it. And for like 2 years, we've really not talked. And that was, a lot of load off my chest. Nobody's bugging me about any guy on board, any wedding bells, any whatever. And, that's undue stress. Something maybe your family is bugging you about it. Something your friends are not bugging you about. Maybe your family is bugging you about it. So I think we should just start from there to some things, even no matter how close, if it happens to be with people, no matter how closely knit you are. Sometimes you just have to say no. Sometimes you just have to say, hey, I beg, stay day your day, make I day my day.
Make I day my day.
Then another thing that could help, like I would agree with her too, is journaling, trying to just write out what's happening all the time. You just let it go, let it flow. If you have somebody you can talk to, just somebody who will not judge you, you talk to the person. If it's a group you belong to and you can rant there without being judged, without being about anything, like support group system, you just go there and so try and be positive and all that. Learn to communicate properly. And another thing I would add is the kind of option, apart from trying to dissociate oneself from the kind of information you receive, you also you can try to find out if what you are even receiving, sometimes it's correct, because it can help you filter out what is necessary per time.
Okay. All right.
I believe it can help one. Yes.
Thank you so much, Maureen. In addition to your question, how do they get inspired? I need to, understand the question well. How do we convert? Can I please get a question again one more time?
How can comedians help out in this type of situation now through your heart? You are in the showbiz industry, so
yeah. Okay, so one of the things. Okay, so one of the things that I do personally, one of the things I just shared with you that I brought out a joke from was something that shouldn't be disturbing me. You see the way I brought it out and I talked about it and I joked about it. At the time, it was almost becoming like a responsibility that I was almost running from. But I said to myself, I brought out the comic side of it, and I'm making money from it. I'm making them understand that yes, the responsibility might be there, but it's a privilege to be the head. It's a privilege to carry those responsibilities. I also go to some pages to make myself laugh. I go to some comedy, some of my colleagues, I go to their page, I go to the Macaronis, I go to the Wole Agba to make myself laugh. I go to the Agu, different comedy, YouTube channels to make myself laugh. I watch comedy events, I watch Yoruba movies. Sometimes I watch some Yoruba movie and my wife and I will ask her, say, what did you gain from this Yoruba movie? Because at the end, I would just laugh over it. And anything that I know, one of the things that I do to myself is from the bad experience that I have, I convert them to making sense from it. That it was supposed to make me feel bad, but it made me feel better. I was rejected visa twice at the US Embassy. Eventually, we wanted to have our child in the US. It didn't click. I converted it to a joke. It was supposed to be a painful experience because it's only my daughter that is not a US citizen. My two sons are US citizens. Sometimes it comes to my eye. Why didn't I think of any other country? I tell you, I converted everything. I've made money. I've made money from converting my pains to gain. I tell you the truth. There's nothing that has ever happened to me that I did not convert to a joke. When SARS beat me, July 26, 2013, I convert. Even though it was still a painful experience, I still feel the slap. They slapped me and my conscience left me. In fact, I saw my conscience. It was in Bangu, they slapped me. My conscience was in Obariko. Say, Motilo, I cannot kill myself. It won't important for you. I felt the slap. When I had armed robbers come to my house on the 16th of July 2016, my conscience left me too. It left me from the situation. We went outside. So I cannot kill myself. What is the problem about? I had to one way or the other convert. And I tell you, when I begin to share my story of how robbers came to the house, they stole my international passport, stole my laptop, took money. And 2 days after, they returned my international passport. I've never had it before. For robbers to come to the house and then they bring back your international passport. That was the only thing that I prayed for, that they restore, because they had my US visa, my UK visa, and they returned in front of my house early in the morning. These are things that so when other things are looking as if, like I said, I am in charge. Especially for the kind of comedy that I do ethical family comedy. So the comedy that I do must be family friendly, must encourage somebody. My job as a comedian is not to make jest of people. My job as a comedian is to encourage and make people happy. That is the value that I'm giving. So what I do is, I'm in charge. I'm watching a film. I do comparison. I go to any country. I'm doing comparison what I see in the country. I do comparison what I see. Like the first time I went to Dubai in 2012, I saw that in Dubai, in their bus stop, they have AC. And as a progressive youth, I began to imagine us having ACs in our BRT lane. BRT, and while you're waiting for BRT, AC is just cool. I can assure you, in 1 week, that AC will not be there. First, there will be a lot of iron to hold the AC, because and they'll put cost, do not touch this AC or else you will die. People will still move it. They will move you. Everything was on point.
Oh my God.
You miss your way in developed countries in the UK. You can Google TFL journey plan, and it gives you more than 4 alternative routes. You can't even miss your way. You just ask Google. I'm going to BL. I'm going to Multicast. I'm going to. You miss your way in Lagos. You are stressed. You just ask somebody. I'm going to Civic Center. The person will shout, "Yay! Take it, say Civic. I've had that name before, Civic. So now be taking over. In 1977, I did civil education. What's my business? That's even, you go to Ibadan, you are lost completely. Everybody's panicking. You say you're going to Jogo, it's like, Jogo. You now start asking people, but where are you coming from? Say from Lagos. It's Oga Ibejino. Tell me where I'm going to. All these things should be stressing me, but I've converted it. So if you are listening to us, this is not a time to begin to hold on. There are a lot of things that God has done. I'm sorry, I'm bringing in more of God, because I tell you, I'm a product of the grace of God. Everything that I ever have is by the grace of God. When things are not going good, when things are not going the way it is, I hold on to that process. I say, God, you did this for me. You sorted me out this way. You sorted me out this way. And especially as a comedian, every time I climb the stage, I'm always praying, God, make these people laugh. I don't know what to say, even though I prepared my lines, but I make myself happy. I have to make myself happy. My wife makes me happy. My wife is a fantastic comedian. She's even funnier than I am.
I agree.
We crack jokes about anything. Yeah. We crack jokes about anything. It's not, we're not in a relationship where we are careful of the kind of jokes we crack. I crack joke with her. If she sleeps on the bed, I make jest of her. She make jest of me when I sleep, when I snore. When we even pollute, we have to be happy, because you have to be happy. So for me, I make myself happy, and I also convert the things that should have made me sad. What kind of book? And so, okay, yeah, let me stop here.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking a question.
Because somebody's asking a question. Ruby, can you answer that? Is that possible?
Oh, what question? I'm sorry, I can't see anything.
Oh, okay. What kind of food can someone take if he or she has asthma?
Yes.
Has asthma.
Yes.
Oh, well, it's still just the same thing. Just make sure you step away from acidic food, and then do mostly vegetables. Things that has high water content, like cucumber and watermelon, are actually good. Now, watermelon is a fruit, not a vegetable. Please don't mistake with that. And cucumber is a vegetable and a fruit at the same time, but they both have high water content. So yes, watermelon, cucumbers, less acidic fruits, and you're fine. Okra is a magic fruit too. So yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Our time is fast spent, and our next guest is up to take us to the next level. So thank you, Ruby. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, SACO, for making us laugh and enjoying everything. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let me. Somebody is asking about exercises, and it says, "What are the best exercises for somebody with sickle cell?" So I'll leave that to you, Ruby, and then we sign off.
Okay, but walking is good. Anything that is going to make your heart rate really go up, not too much. You can actually do strength exercises, but not heavy weights, so that you don't stress your bones too much. So yes, walking is good. Not too high cardio, and then strength exercises, but not too heavy weights. That's fine.
All right. Okay then. So, Ruby, where can somebody reach you?
You can reach me. You can go to my Instagram handle at I am Ruby Agu. That's it. That's fine. Right. Yeah. That's actually just DM me at I am Ruby Agu.
And Maureen?
At Nwachi Maureen.
Okay. And SACO? Okay, you've already put your thing on your Spirit of SACO.
Yes, SACO.com. Yes,
all right. Thank you so much, guys. It's been a great time.
Thank you for having us. Thank you. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye.
Oluwatoyin.
Okay, so we're having our next guest. She's she's Oluwatoyin Ogunkami, and I'm going to put her bio. She's going to be talking about how parents can help their children live a healthy lifestyle.
Oluwatoyin Ogunkami is a psychologist and a certified family life practitioner. She is the founder of Parenting Support System Limited, an organization that helps parents to create a serene family life without losing their cool. Oluwatoyin is the convener of the No Yelling Challenge, Smart Parenting Workshop, and Parents Connect forums, where parents get together to discuss issues relating to their parenting journey. She is also the author of the parenting journal, Smart Parenting, Help, Who is the Stranger in My Home, and also many other ebooks. Oluwatoyin is a certified parenting educator with the USAID Better Parenting Nigerian Curriculum Program, has trained over 5,000 parents on her online parenting platforms and the groups. She has been featured on many media platforms including Channels TV, AIT, Rhythm FM, We FM, and Armed Forces Radio. Oluwatoyin has a passion for teaching and coaching parents to be deliberate in their role and parenting journey. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's welcome Oluwatoyin Ogunkami to the Positive Wellness Summit as she shares on Teenscape, a parent's approach to getting holistic and healthy lifestyle for your children.
Okay. Hi, Toyin, my namesake.
Hi, I was dancing to the intro. I really love this intro. Please, you're going to send it to me.
No problem. You want to hype our guest? It's great to have you. And so, sorry, what did you say?
Okay, I said it's really interesting listening to the introduction. I was like, wow, is that me?
It's you all around. All right. So, guys, if you know somebody who is a parent, please call them to come and listen to this, because this is very important. Sometimes we focus on the adults and we forget that the children are just as important. I used to remember growing up, there used to be this I don't know how whether it is like that in other settings, but there's this cultural thing of the father is the one that gets the fattest meats. The chicken, the particular part of the chicken, and then they'll give the children who are still growing the smaller parts. So over to you as you take us on this journey.
Okay, thank you for having me, my namesake. Thank you everyone for joining this session. I listened to the fire chat and conversation, wonderful tips given by Ruby, wonderful the man that was cracking the joke, I was actually laughing too at the jokes. He was trying stylishly put it in while talking. Thank you everyone for being part of this training and webinar. So today I'll be talking about how we can raise our children using the holistic approach, how we can raise our children to have a healthy lifestyle. And first thing first, I need everyone to know that parenting starts with you, the parent. You are your child's first role model, you're your child's teacher. So everything you want your child to do, everything you want to impact into the life of your child, you have to start doing those things first. So what are we talking about? Holistic parenting. So before I go into holistic parenting, I'll just give a short introduction into what parenting is. I've defined parenting as the process of it's a deliberate process of raising children from infancy all the way to adulthood. It's a deliberate process. It takes 18 years to raise your children, and raising your children involves you identifying, developing, and building your child's virtue, developing your child's competence, helping your child to find the niche where he or she can thrive, where he or she can operate, and to become the best person God has created him or her to be. Parenting also involves you promoting the child's mental, physical, intellectual, social, emotional, development. So, what really is holistic parenting? Holistic parenting is when you, the parent, you are conscious, you are aware of the fact that you are raising a child that has to be well balanced. You are raising a child that you know that the child has to be emotionally fit, physically fit, emotionally stable, mentally stable, spiritually alert, morally upright. You're a child that's all round. So most times when let me use my own life as an example. When I started having children almost 18 years, almost 17 years ago, when I had my son's going to be 17 next year. When I had my son, my first child, I was taught about his physical development. My parents told me about his physical development. My parents told me about how to make sure that he develops in the way of the Lord. But I was not really taught about his mental and emotional development. So when I started seeing certain traits, certain attributes, and as a parent that was not emotionally stable and I was not emotionally intelligent then, I was always flaring up, I was always losing my cool and all that. But when I got to know better that parenting actually starts with me, anything I want my child to do, I have to start doing those things first because I'm the first teacher, I'm the first influencer in the life of my child. Then I started changing. I went to learn more about how to raise my child to become emotionally intelligent, how to raise my child to become mentally stable so it doesn't fall into depression and all that. So, holistic parenting has to do with you, the parent, being conscious, being aware of your child, knowing that your child has to grow, has to develop as a whole human being. So it's not that you focusing only on his physical and allowing his spiritual to not to grow, or you physical you focusing on his intellectual and not focusing on his emotional. As a parent that is practicing holistic parenting, you know that your child has to develop all round. Very important. Now I'll be talking about healthy lifestyle. What does it mean? When I talk about healthy lifestyle, what does it mean? So let me go back to the holistic parenting. Now, I said holistic parenting has to do with the all round child, a child that is physically fit, a child that is emotionally stable, a child that is mentally stable, a child that is spiritually alert, a child that is morally upright, and a child that can stand on his own to do certain things that the child, in terms of social interaction, the child is socially aware. So what can we do as parents to ensure that we raise children to be balanced in all these areas? So I will start with the physically fit, a child that is physically fit. Now, when we talk of having a child that is physically fit, what does it entail? It entails you, the parent, ensuring that your child eats right, eats a balanced diet, eats vegetable. When I was listening to the other lady, she was talking about us taking more of vegetables, eating a balanced diet, and all that. Your children should too. You should start that with your children too, right at an early age. Let them get used. There's this thing that stories we hear that children don't like eating veggies, but there are different ways you can cook your vegetables that your children would love to eat those things. So, as parents, for you to have a child that is physically fit, you have to ensure that the child eats healthy. You have to ensure that the child sleeps appropriately. You have to ensure that the child have enough or adequate sleep. For the different numbers of hours that the age of the child, different ages need to sleep. Children, for adults, we are meant to sleep minimum of 8 hours. Adolescents, they're meant to sleep minimum of 10 hours. So it goes all the way down like that. Different number of hours that every developmental stage of the child, every child needs to sleep. So it's very important as parents that we know how many hours that our child is expected to have in terms of sleep. Another thing you need to know in terms of physical development, apart from eating right, sleeping, having enough sleep, is your child exercising. Your child needs to move his or her body. Your child needs to have I know children are very active. And for example, at this COVID period, We had a lot of children that were just caged in the homes. They were not allowed to go out and all that. If For parents, it's very important that you allow your children to exercise. Let them have a form of sport, and it's important that you teach them this early, so that when they grow older, they don't have a sedentary lifestyle. They're already used to the fact that they have to exercise, they have to get involved in one form of sport or the other. In my home, every child has a particular sport that they're involved in. The person that is involved in basketball loves basketball. The person that is involved in football is involved in football. My daughter, she's still looking for what she wants to do, but she shuttles between basketball, dancing, and football. So it's very important that your child has something he or she is doing in forms of exercise. Then enroll them in sports. And you know the good thing about sports, one thing I love about sports is that it teaches your child discipline. You know, for every sport, there's a particular there are certain rules that they need to follow. So once your child is involved in one form of sport or the other, that child ends up becoming disciplined. You understand? It's very important that we teach them, we allow them to get engaged in one form of sport or the other. So some parents might say, what about for children that do not love sports? What do we do? Ensure that they walk. All the short, brisk walking, let them skip, let them do something, but they have to move their body for them to be physically fit. Then the next step is them becoming emotionally stable. This is very important that we teach our children how to become emotionally stable. And as parents, you are your child's emotion coach. You have to teach your child how to identify his or her emotions. What are the triggers? What are the things that could get your child irritated? What are the things that will get your child what are his triggers? So it's very important that you increase your child's awareness of his or her emotion. You need to teach your children how to identify their triggers. Very important. You need to teach them, you have to let them know that they should not repress their emotion, but we should teach them the appropriate ways of expressing their emotion. There's this thing I tell parents, it's called the ruler method, where we can actually use with our children. The ruler method was actually developed by Yale University. They have a Center for Emotional Intelligence. The ruler method is an acronym which starts, that's the RULER. R starts for you recognizing your emotions. What emotions am I feeling? So it's very important that we teach our children this. Let them recognize and identify their emotions. The U stands for them understanding what are the triggers, what are the things why do I react this way? Why do I have these emotions? It's very important that we teach them this. The L stands for them labeling the emotion accurately. There are times that a child will be hungry, but the child starts acting angry. So as parents, it's important that we teach our children to label their emotions appropriately. In my book, Smart Parenting, I've written like different steps on how parents can teach their children to identify the triggers, how you can teach your children to label their emotions. I will give one tip on how you can teach your children to label their emotions. Fill them with emotion vocabulary. Let them know different words that's attached to different emotions. Very important. In that way, they'll be able to label the emotion appropriately. Then E stands for expressing yourself appropriately. So L is labeling your emotion accurately. E is you expressing your emotion. So when your child is angry, you need to teach them that when you're angry, you don't need to hit somebody. Teach them to use their words instead of their fist. Very important. Then the last R starts for you regulating and reviewing your action. So when your child has done something wrong, so like in my home now, when my daughter or my son has done something to hurt the other siblings and they're about to apologize, I tell them, you cannot just say I'm sorry. You have to know what you're sorry, why you're sorry, and what you're sorry about. So as parents, we need to teach them to review and regulate their actions. So if you've done something wrong to your sibling, how do you apologize? How do you repair the damage you've done? So it's very important that we teach our children this. That's under teaching your children to become emotionally fit. Now, for the mentally stable, what are the things I heard somebody talking about mental health. Okay, the last discussion you were talking about mental health. What are the things we can do? It's very important that we raise our children to be mentally aware and mentally stable. According to the World Health Organization, they said 10 to 20% of children experience mental health disorders before the age of 14. So if they already have statistics that children can actually experience mental health disorder, what are we doing as parents to prevent and to promote good mental health in our children? And one of the things I tell parents is that you have to be emotionally present in the life of your children. You have to be there. Your child should know that anytime I have anytime I have a problem, anytime I have something bothering me, my mom, my dad will be there for me to speak to. And the only way your child would know that you'll be there is when you've actually acted it out. Your child can see. Your child has spoken to you about certain things before, and the way you respond will determine if the child will come back. If your child speaks to you that, mommy, can you imagine? I'm not feeling. Today in school, my friend. I noticed that my friend, they had maybe beautiful bags, and I really love the bag. And the next you say, olójú kòkòrò ni ẹ́. I start insulting the child. The next time the child will not come and tell you anything. So it's very important that when our children come to talk to us, we should listen without being judgmental. We should encourage them to always talk to us, because we have to help them to promote their mental health. It's very important that we help them to promote their mental health. It's very important that we create the home environment that is conducive. Another reason children experience mental health disorder is when they're faced with violence, either when they experience violence or when they witness violence happening in their home. Another reason children might have mental health disorder is the use of technology. This thing, because what they're watching, the time, the content, we should help them to regulate it. It's very important that we help them to regulate. Another thing parents can do is to give their children a routine. Children that have routine, children that live within a routine, it helps them live a structured life. It's very important as parents that we do this. We provide our parents with our children with routine. We create a home environment that is conducive for our children to express themselves. We have an open channel of communication where your children can come and talk to you. You are there emotionally. It's one thing for you to be in the home. It's another thing for you to be emotionally present when your child is talking to you. So it's very important that we give our children that attention. Let them listen to us. Let us listen to them. Let us listen to them. Let us listen without being judgmental. There are times your children might just want to talk to you without you giving them advice, especially those that have teenagers. Those that have teenagers, it's very important that you need to know that when your teenager is talking to you or telling you certain things, at times they just want to talk. They just want to share their own, what is bothering them. But when you now use the opportunity to start lecturing them or nagging, you're just closing that channel of communication. So it's very important that we have an open channel of communication in our homes. Then, spiritually alert. How can you raise children who will become spiritually alert? It's very important that you teach your children how to pray. There's one thing I tell parents, that you teach your children to experience God themselves. Teach your children to have an experiential knowledge of God. Let them know who God is for themselves. I tell people, even my children, I tell my children, see, God does not have grandchildren. God has children. So you need to develop that relationship with God. So as parents, we need to teach our children to develop a relationship with God. Let them know who God is for themselves. Very important. Then intellectually, you know, our children's cognitive development is very important, especially for teenagers, parents that have teenagers. When your child becomes an adolescent, the way the child reason, the way the child thinks differs. In fact, is your child starts thinking abstractly. So before it used to be black and white. Now that your child is an adolescent, your child now knows that in between there's gray. In between black and white there's gray. Your child now starts thinking abstractly. Your child now starts asking questions, and it's like we tell a child to do something, and the next thing your child will say is, "Mommy, why?" The why there is for you to explain further. It's for you to give the child more information. But most parents will see that why as the child being rude. The child is not being rude. The child is just asking for more information. One thing you need to know as parents, as empathy is a tool you need to deploy when raising children, especially teenagers. Just put yourself in the child's position. Remember when you were a teenager. Remember the things you went through. Remember all the emotions that went through you. I know one thing parents of teenagers need to know is that they are going through a phase. Adolescent is a transition period from childhood to adulthood. So as parents, we need to prepare them for adulthood by allowing this phase to go smoothly. The child already has enough troubles. The child has enough challenges. The child is trying to fit in. The child is trying to there's peer pressure. The child is trying to meet up with expectations of his peers. The child has expectations to meet in terms of his academics. The child has expectations to meet in terms of parents, the societal, so many. And the child is also anxious about the future, that what is going to happen? What am I going to do? There's so many things going on the mind of children. Then we have technology. Your child is looking at how many likes he's getting for the picture he's posted, is wondering how many people are following him. So many things are actually going on. So as parents, please, it's very important that we create an atmosphere where your child can come to you and talk to you and discuss with you. They are going through a lot. Parents to adolescents now, they're going through a lot. And it will be very unfair for them not to be able to come home and speak to mommy, speak to daddy about what is happening to them. Please, parents, very important that we create that atmosphere in the home. Now, apart from them developing cognitively, I tell parents that help your children to find a purpose in life. We tend to ask children, what do you want to become in future? That question is not really, I won't say it's the best question. Why not change the question and say, what would you want to change in future? What are the things you've seen in your environment that you would like to change? When your child starts thinking like that, your child starts saying that, oh, there's a purpose, there's a reason why God created me. I don't like this. What can I do to change this? And you encourage your children to read more about whatever area of interest they have. Let them read more. Let them, if possible, you can register them for seminars. You can register them for workshops. But it's very important that your child has a purpose. Let your child have a sense of purpose, especially teenagers. Let them have something that they're looking forward to. And one thing I tell parents of teenagers that exercise, having a sport, having a hobby is very important for teenagers, because it takes their mind off all the things happening around them. So it's very important for them to have a hobby. It's very important for them to have a sense of purpose. Let them have something that they're working towards. Let them look at the society. What is it that I can change in this society? What would they love to do? Instead of us asking them question of what do you want to become when you grow up. Of course, the child wouldn't know what he wants to become when he grows up. But when you ask, what would you like to change in the society? What are the things you want to improve in the society? Your child will definitely have something to say and definitely have something to work towards. So what can we do as parents now to help our children live a healthy lifestyle. The first is you have to be the best role model. Always start with the end in mind. What type of adult do I want to raise? And one thing we do at parenting support system is that our major goal at parenting support system is to provide parents with practical tools and information to raise children into well balanced adults. So the end in mind for our parenting support system is that we want these children we are raising to become well balanced adults. So always start with the end in mind. What type of adult do you want to raise? I want to raise an adult that is kind, that is emotionally stable. I want to raise an adult that has empathy. I want to raise an adult that is accountable, that is responsible. All these qualities that you want in your children, you, the parent, you need to have them. You need to have these qualities, very important. Then, in terms of eating right, in terms of exercising, you have to model that too. So for me in the morning, I walk for 5 minutes every morning. And I noticed that my daughter now loves doing that. So when we started, I noticed she was always getting tired. But guess what she decided to do? She started riding behind me. So instead of walking, she rides beside me. And why would she do that? Because she has seen me as a model doing that. She has seen me every morning. I wake up, I walk. Every morning I do my 45 minutes walk. So for her, I've been a role model. What about eating right? Do you do more of junk food or you do more of vegetables? If you want to change your diet, you could change your diet. But what are the things you want to start doing to replace what you were eating before? So it's important as parents that we have healthy snacks available. Let's have healthy snacks available. Let's have food that are in the home, food high in nutrients, not food high in sugar, sodium, or fat. Let us have food rich in nutrients, balanced diet, very important. Let us have that. Then let us, as parents too, let us sleep well. Let us sleep well. Sleep and rest is one thing that is free. It's not, it doesn't cost us anything. To sleep and to rest doesn't cost us anything. So at every point in time, let us have a time that we are resting. Let us have a time we are sleeping. So the children, when they know, okay, this is mommy's rest time, mommy is resting, they themselves, they want to develop that and they want to do that. We are the first role model. Please, I need you to know that everything you're doing, everything your child, I know the thing about children is that they learn more by imitation. They learn more by observation. What you do is what they will do, not what you say. There's this thing, this saying while growing up, that do as I do, don't do as I say, I don't do as I do. That is not what happens in parenting. No. In parenting, your child will do as you do and not as you say. Then finally, to wrap this up, it's very important that we teach our children to have a very good self-esteem. Let them, let them have a good sense of self. Let them see themselves and love themselves. It's very important. We teach our children to love themselves. It's very important we teach our children to love other people. It's very important that we teach our children to have empathy. It's very important we teach our children to have a sense of responsibility. There are so many life skills we have to teach our children before they leave home. I have a new book coming out. It's called Preparing Your Adolescent for Adult Living. And one of the things I wrote there, I wrote about 10 life skills we have to teach our children before they leave home. Your children should be able to manage a home in terms of what are the things expected in the home. It's very important that we let them know what to do, how to change the light bulbs, how to pump there's something spoiled in the house, how to fix it. It's very important we teach them that. It's very important we teach them how to move from one place to another. Let it not be that it's just the driver taking them up and down. Let them be able to go with public transport. Because when they leave home, they would go out, they're going to interact with children that have been doing this all their lives. So for your children to fit in, so your children will not be, when I say them fitting in, for them not to feel out of place, it's very important that we teach them certain life skills before they leave their home. So I'll be stopping here. My host, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. It's been an interesting discourse listening to you talking about parenting, and I'm even glad you even covered all aspects of, because we tend to forget certain aspects, especially part of when we are dealing with our children emotionally, how we talk to them and everything. And which brings me to a question that somebody asked about. Let me look for it. Emotional blackmail. He says, how do I listen to my child without being judgmental when he tries emotional blackmail?
You know, your children, the thing about children is that they know us. They see us, they see what we do. They know our love. My children, they do that. They know my love language. So, for example, one of my love languages, acts of service. So my children would want something from me. Guess what they would do? They would do everything. They put everything in place. They now say, "Mommy, I have to go and see but they've already done what I love, so I would allow them. So your children know you. For the fact that they might want to blackmail you emotionally, you are the adult in this relationship. So you should be able to smell what they're coming on. So I already know when my children, like today now, my son did something for me. He went on an errand for me. So when he came back with a taxi, I was like, "Oh, how much did you spend? Let me pay you back." He said, "No, mommy, don't worry." I say, "You, I know where you're going. You're still going to get the money from me in another way." So fine, they would want to blackmail you emotionally, but you are the adult in the relationship. You should know what you should be able to put set the boundary in the relationship. You should know what to expect and what is expected of your child, and they too should know what is expected of them. Not being judgmental simply means you're listening to them without judgment. Just listen to them. Most times as parents, we tend to assume a lot. Your children is telling you something, and you're like, mommy, do you remember that my friend Shade? And you're like, what happened to Shade? Is she pregnant? Can you imagine? You've already assumed, you've already concluded. So as parents, please, we should avoid being judgmental. We should avoid raising our children with assumption. Please, let's not do that.
Yeah. And Joy asks, how do we handle bad peer pressure?
Sure. Okay. So that's why you need to have a relationship with your child. That's why you need to have an open channel of communication with your child where you can discuss with your children and tell them certain things. Especially for adolescents, you cannot tell them not to have certain friends. Do you know that? But you can influence them not to have certain types of friends. One of the things we do in my home, we watch film. We love watching films. Family time is film time, movie time. And whenever we're watching film, we don't watch film for the sake of watching film. We watch film as a teachable moment in our homes. So we are done watching the film and we ask, what do you think about what we just watched? Did you see that guy? Did you see what happened? Can you imagine? So those friends were bad. We go in a subtle way to teach them what to do. But if you go and tell your child, you're not going to have, if you're that boy, stop going out with him, your child will go out with that friend, but you wouldn't know about it again.
Yeah.
So as parents, we are to guide them. We are to influence them. My book, Help, Who is the Stranger in This Home? It's practical tips on how to influence your adolescents. You have to understand each child for who that child is, and you have to learn how to influence the child positively. When your child, and the thing about children, they see us, they know what we are doing, they know they know everything about us because they're seeing us. We are their role model, and there's certain things that you will see in your children. You'll be shocked, but why is this child behaving like this? This child has gotten all my traits. all my bad traits, all my good traits. So anything you want your child to do, any way you want your child to behave, it's very important that you start acting in that way. A child that already has that is being influenced by peer pressure, there are certain ways you talk to the child, there are certain things you show the child, there are certain, most times they don't see the outcome of that influence or that pressure. But you already know the end from the beginning, like they say, God knows the end from the beginning. But because you're an adult, you already know the outcome, you already know where it's leading to. So it's very important that we teach them about the outcome. But most times we do more of preaching. We do more of talking. We don't teach. We don't teach, we preach. But we need to do more of teaching, not preaching. Please.
Yeah. All right. Abe asks, how do parents who leave home very early come back late to be holistic in parenting? That is an issue that
you have to know what is important. You have to know. See, this I'm not going to mince word. For you to have those children, for God to have given you those children, God knows that you have the capacity and you have the ability to raise them right. What would you tell God on the last day? That the children you gave to me, because of the job you gave to me, I did not have time to raise them. So it's very important that you develop a relationship with these children. Even if you leave home early, the few hours you have with them in the morning, what do you do with those hours? The few hours you have with them when you come back from work, what do you do? In between the hours, what do you do? Do you call them? Do you check on them? You can do video calls. What are you doing? Speak with them. I know of a parent that does not live with his family. He lives outside where they stay. But that parent is so connected to his children that even the parent that lives with the child does not know half as much as the other parent that is not living with them knows. So you cannot use that as an excuse not to be holistic in raising our children. Whatever time you have with them, be it just 15 minutes, be it 10 minutes, but make sure that that time is not the quantity, but the
the
quality.
quality. Yeah.
It's the quality. The time you're spending with them, what do you do with them? What do you say to them? What do you teach them? Do you use the time to nag? Do you use the time to correct? Do you use the time to, you should use that time to show them love. Use that time to teach them. Use that time to affirm them. Very important. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think that's the last of our questions. People are Fumi says, I love what I'm hearing. And somebody's doing several virtual hugs. Thank you so much, Toyin. It's been an interesting time with you. And a nice end to a lovely day of sessions. And I'm glad you were able to take time to come and talk to us about this subject, because I know as parents, we tend to be worried. And I see situations that parents are so caught up with work and providing for the family, we tend to forget those little details. And then they will say, what happened? I gave the child all I need. I did this, I do that. But sometimes it's not just the finance or whatever, but it's in those little details. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. It's been great having you.
Thank you for having me.
And how can they reach you? You mentioned some of your books and stuff like that. How can they reach you?
Okay. Yeah. So I have a website, www.oluwatoyinogunkami.com. On Facebook, Oluwatoyin Ogunkami. On Instagram, Oluwatoyin Ogunkami. Together. For you to get any of my books, I have 3 published books. I have one that is coming out in December, on December 1st. You can go to my website, www.oluwatoyin.com/books.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So from any of my books, any of my material/books. Thank you very much,
so much. Thank you. Have a lovely Sunday, a lovely week. All right.
Thank you. Thanks. Goodbye.
Bye. All right. Then that's the last of our guests for today. I hope you've had a very inspirational time. during this period. We've had from back to back, we had Adenike, then we now ended with Toyin, and I thank you all for staying and watching. Tomorrow is the last and final day. It's going to be even much more fun. We have Coach Sam, very wonderful Coach Sam, who's going to speak about health and wellness in the workplace. And we're going to be having somebody who's going to talk about our mindset and how we can cope with it during challenging times. And there's so many other topics that are going to be on tomorrow. So don't miss it. Tell your friends. We'll send the link as usual. For those of you who are on email, check your email or your Telegram page. We'll send the link as early as possible. I will apologize. Today's one was a bit late, but we'll send it as early as possible tomorrow. And so just prepare yourself. Have a wonderful time in church tomorrow if you go to church. And let's just be thankful and grateful for all that we have, regardless of our circumstances. Okay. So because it's late, we'll not have a game tonight, but tomorrow we'll definitely have another game. So till we see again tomorrow, have a lovely, lovely night. God bless.